The lady.
The lady?
The lady startles me every time.
Oh, the Zoom lady?
Yeah.
Well, she's really official.
Recording in progress.
Like she almost sounds stern.
Yeah, stern. I think that's what it is. Like, I don't like it, lady.
That is it.
Like, I need an upbeat lady. I need like a recording in progress.
Oh.
If we could choose the voice, like on the choose, like how we can choose the Siri voice or whatever, that would be
yes. Just a happy British woman who sounds like she's in her garden drinking tea.
Yes, I want pots all day.
I am here for that.
Okay, well, beautiful. Well, then Ashley and I will do our official intro, and then we will introduce you and chat about all the beautiful things.
Yes, I am ready.
Oh, and we will also probably mention our sponsor, Karma Coffee, so that
ooh,
I know we're sponsored now.
Yeah. That's so exciting. That's amazing. Congrats.
Thank you.
Okay, so are we ready?
So ready.
Oh my gosh. Hi, beautiful humans. I'm Kayla.
And I'm Ashley. Welcome to Your Soul Welcome.
A podcast of belonging for humans exploring their deepest hearts. Yeah. And before we cue the intro music, we are here with the amazing Megan Ruth Stoddard, who is a master life coach, a human design expert, and a somatic embodiment mentor, which means that she can help you with your body, mind, and soul, which is so exciting because you guys know how much we freaking love mind, body, soul alignment.
Oh, yeah.
Megan is the founder of her very welcoming coaching business, Elevate Empire. She's the creator of the Integration by Design method and the pause process. And she is the creator of her own podcast, the Elevate Empire podcast. So if you love what she has to say, you can go subscribe to her podcast. And she is also a dancer. She danced professionally. So when she talks to you about body movement, she is coming from a place of pure expertise. She is a survivor of childhood trauma. And as of this past weekend, she's a freaking fracking half marathon runner. Yes! I'm
wearing my
so
shirt.
proud of you. I love that you're wearing your marathon shirt. That's amazing.
Impressive. So impressive.
Yes, I told my husband I was going to wear this like every day for a month. I might even watch it sometime.
I mean, yes, please.
You've earned it.
Celebrate those accomplishments.
Yes. Thank you. Oh my gosh,
Yes.
I'm so honored to be here. And it's honestly so fun. Thank you for that introduction. That was so like humbling. And also sometimes I forget all of my stuff too. I'm like, oh yeah, I do that. Because it's just so, and we'll get into this, but like with like once you're in your human design, when you're in your gifts, you know, it's like, oh yeah, that's like not everybody has that. Not everybody does that. Like, oh yeah, oh yeah, that's just mine.
Yes.
I just had a conversation with someone about that, about how those tiny things that have become habits now, you don't remember are actual skills that you had to learn at some point. And it's so important to like color that out and celebrate yourself for it.
Yes, absolutely. Yay. So thank you for celebrating me, and I receive
absolutely
your soul welcome. Okay, we will cue the intro right now.
You guys are so adorable, and I love you.
Hey, thanks. We try. No, we don't try. We succeed.
Right? Yeah.
Yes.
We don't. We just are this way.
Yeah.
This is just us. Which I feel like is why this podcast is succeeding, because it's just us weirdos and ourselves and
doing life together.
Yes. With our Karma coffee mugs.
Yes, which seriously are so cute. I love them.
He thinks. Compliments of Tracy, the owner of Karma Coffee.
Yes.
So yummy.
Yes. So honestly, I feel like our success is owed to us just being normal and natural human beings having fun. And I'm so excited and honored that you're our first guest in on this experience of us just like chilling out, having fun.
I don't think I realized that I'm your first guest. Oh my gosh.
You we've got a couple more guests scheduled, but like in the scheduling lineup, you were first, and I was like, how fucking perfect is that? Or
Yes.
freaking perfect is that?
It's okay, you're in my ear. She can hear you.
Okay. Oh, yay. That
Yes.
makes me feel so
Yes.
much better.
Yes. No filters needed.
That's nice, because my booty after leaving the teaching profession is like, I'm gonna curse all the time now.
I remember when you told me that like 2
Yes.
years ago, and I was like, yes.
It's still going strong.
Yeah.
So for those of you listening, Megan and I originally met when we were first going through our coaching certifications, and we were the people who like practiced our like coaching techniques on each other. So like we would meet every week or whatever and coach each other. So we got really close, and I'm glad that we have maintained such a beautiful friendship, because I don't think I've maintained friendships with everyone that I practiced with. So it's nice.
Yeah, me neither. You have been like my tried and true, long-term, always there, foundational coaching friend.
Freaking honored to be that.
I love that.
Same.
So since we have you here, Megan, will you please tell us everything we need to know about human design? Because Ashley and I have mentioned it a couple different times on our channel, but we for surezies don't feel qualified to like teach everything, because I know I've learned human design from a perspective of helping myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that human design is so good for that. And I have not learned it from the avenue of helping other people help themselves with it. So it would be nice to know that from your perspective as like a human design and gene keys expert.
Yes. Oh man, where do I start? Just kidding. I know where to start. Strategy and authority. Always strategy and authority. And it's so funny because when I've taken people through like my mastermind, which is on pause right now, so don't get too excited about that, but or just private coaching, literally everything, it doesn't matter how in depth we get into their human design or their gene keys, I'm always like, okay, but what about your strategy and your authority? What does that say? And there sometimes I'll get clients be like, but like we're looking at my variable right now. What does that have to do? Everything has to do with your strategy and authority. So like, if you don't learn anything about your human design other than strategy and authority, you're set for life. You really, really are. It gets to be that simple, and it can get as complex as you want. So that's like the main thing that I love to share, is that because when you first pull your chart, it's like,
it's overwhelming.
What? Yes, there's a lot, which I love. Oops, can you pick those up for me, please?
So then
getting to look at how simple it gets to be. Like you can ignore all the beautiful intricacies and everything and just look at your strategy and your authority, which for some people, they're one and the same. And for some people, it's two.
Okay. Well, I didn't know having the same was an option because mine are different. So that's so good to know. Will you tell us, Megan, what is a person's strategy and what is their authority? Like, how does that, can we define those for people so that they have a place to start?
Absolutely. So when you pull your chart, which if anyone hasn't pulled their chart yet, that you can just Google free human design chart, or I have it on my website as well. Get it for free and it will tell you. So like for me, my strategy is to respond, and that's going to be true of any other human being who is a generator or a manifesting generator. Your strategy is tied to your type. So generators and manifesting generators, their strategy is to respond. Manifestors, your strategy is to inform. And actually, what's your type? I don't think I know.
I'm a projector.
I love, we've got so much representation on this one call.
Yay!
Your strategy is to wait for the invitation. And then reflectors, which are super rare. I still have yet to meet a reflector. Actually, that's a lie. I learned that someone I went to college with, her and her husband are both reflectors.
Wow.
Which is wild. I know. Because it's like 1% of the population are reflectors.
And they like found each other.
I think there's something to that. I think there's something to that. There are four projectors in my household of 6.
No way.
Yeah.
Yeah, my household is manifesting generator. My husband's a manifesting generator. My daughter's a manifesting generator.
Oh my gosh, you have so many like idea
Busy
people and
people.
energy.
Yeah, you are
people.
busy,
Yes.
busy. Wow.
Yes. And then there's me who's a generator and my son who's a manifester. So he's got a little,
love
got me a little
that.
manifester. Anyhow, so reflectors, their strategy is to wait a lunar cycle. Hang on. Let me make sure that that was right. I might have gotten that confused with their authority, but while I look at that. So the strategy is essentially just the way in which you are meant to interact with the world, the way that you are meant to just live. So because generator types are most common, that's the one that I usually look at first. So to respond, you live life by just responding to things that come into your aura, big or small. Like you just respond. And as people learn about their human design, I find the biggest, like whenever I do a reading or just like when I'm working with someone one-on-one, the thing that I hear the most is, oh, well, yeah, that makes sense. That's what I do. Like that's what works for me.
Totally.
So like, Kayla, you
I
probably found that when you, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, when I found out that my strategy is to inform, I was like, well, I'm a teacher, so that fucking makes sense. Like,
Yes.
or was
Right?
a teacher. I had already left, but like, my husband is always like, and you're still teaching, Kayla. So,
Yes, that's what I was just going to say. You still are. Like,
yes, just teaching on
bomb
self-love
teacher.
instead of Romeo and Juliet, which I'm
Yes.
okay with.
Yeah.
Because what a stark ass contrast.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, yes. Holy Moses. Okay, I was correct on reflectors. Wait a lunar cycle.
Yep.
Needed to make sure that wasn't their authority. And that's actually something it's been really interesting to observe as well, because I've got 3 Manny gens in my household. And part of their strategy as well, their first thing, well, okay, it can get kind of complex depending on your design as a Manny gen. Some are more manifestor, some are more generator. But anyway, so they kind of takes from both. Yeah. And I have a mix of all of that in my house. It's so fascinating.
That is
Okay. But sometimes they will have more of the necessity to inform and some will have more of a necessity to respond. But either way, they have some of both in their design.
okay.
So it's been so interesting kind of teaching my children and my husband how much easier life gets to be for them when they respond or when they inform before they take action. And I've had to like help them with conditioning or fear of people trying to stop them from what they're going to do. Like I've found out that my daughters, so they are she's almost 5, and then my oldest is 7. So they're pretty young, and I'm trying to help them learn, like, you're going to find more roadblocks and more difficulty in that thing that you want to do if you try to do it in secret without letting people know, versus just saying it. Hey, this is what I'm going to go do. I'm not asking for permission. I'm not trying to get your advice or anything. I'm just going to go do this thing. It's so interesting, even with my husband, like, because our generation, a lot of us have been, conditioned to, especially manifestors and Manny gens, not say anything. Otherwise, they're going to get unwanted or unwarranted advice and opinions.
1000%. That resonates so hard for me.
Yes, that resonates. I mean, I'm not a man of my daughter, who is 12 going on 13, going on 17, right? Definitely tries to do that. And I'm like, I just want, just give me a heads up. Like,
just
I'm not,
inform me.
Just give me a heads up. Please just don't try to be sneaky.
Yes. Just let me in on your let me in on your ways. Like, my husband will just go do things. I'm like, I would be okay with you doing that. I'm not going to tell you no.
Right.
And we're not going to have this argument or this like tension between us if you just tell me beforehand. It just like literally energetically clears the path ahead of you.
Yes.
And it's so interesting because I will notice those invitations from past patterns to engage in like secrecy or like sneakiness, not from a place of like malice. I don't desire to like be going behind someone's back, but it was very much ingrained that like my ideas had to be secret. Otherwise people would tell me all the reasons why I shouldn't do them. And that never feels good. And also a caveat, I know that I'm being told not to do XYZ because of ABC out of love, like I know that it's coming from those people from a place of like, well, I want to protect you. I want to make sure that your idea is good enough,
Mm-hmm.
it comes from a loving place, and also it feels
Absolutely.
shady.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So
And that is when
shady.
boundaries come into place, right? We get
Yes.
to have our own energy. Like, okay, that's yours. I don't receive that. That's not for me.
I don't receive
Yes.
that.
Receive that.
I love a good Elise Myers quote. I
I
don't receive that.
Yes, exactly.
He lives in Omaha.
She does, yeah. Uh-huh.
I think you
She's-
guys need to figure out a way to
Come visit.
hang out with her. Yes,
Start by coming to visit.
You and everyone else on the internet who
Yeah.
wants to hang out with her, right?
honestly, it's true. She's hanging out with like Lance Bass, for heaven's sakes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so
But yeah,
so now people know.
yes, that is strategy, just how you interact with life.
Yes.
Okay, beautiful. I love that. And
And
so
it just make life easier. So then authority is how you best make decisions. Yes, especially big decisions, because like again, it will kind of depend on what your authority is.
Emotional.
yes, okay. Emotion.
Splenic.
I am emotional solar plexus.
Yes, same. Which about half the population is emotional solar plexus authority.
Okay.
And splenic is such a fascinating one. I honestly kind of love it. It can be one of the harder ones to like trust initially, just due to conditioning. But once you do, it's just like instantaneous. You just know.
Yeah.
You know, it's so cool. I have my spleen defined as well. It's not my authority, but like, so I can get a little taste of what that could be like. But I just always say that your authority is the most clear way that your intuition speaks to you.
Okay.
Like it has the final say in a decision.
Mm-hmm.
And again, especially with big ones, because like the emotional authority takes time. So you don't have to wait for your inner authority to tell you what to have for breakfast, right?
Right.
But like with your splenic authority, your inner authority works quickly enough that it can tell you every little minor decision. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Wow, that sounds really interesting as a person who does not have access to that. That sounds fascinating.
Yeah, it really is.
I've been learning to really enjoy finding harmony in knowing that I get to wait for my intuition to kick in. And I have found it particularly helpful because when I have so many ideas, and I know that as a manifestor, I have limited energy. So not all of my ideas are for me to initiate, or they're not all for me to execute. So it's nice to be able to have that reliance on my intuition to know to take a few days before I commit to something. And it's been a really great way, honestly, to learn about boundary setting, because I've had to tell people things like, I'm going to let myself marinate on this. I'll let you know. And what a powerful boundary to be able to set. And it sounds so simple. Like everyone I've said that to has been like, of course, absolutely.
Yes. And then you know that if someone is not okay with that, then the answer just gets to be a no.
Correct.
If you're not okay with waiting for an answer, then the answer is no.
Yes.
In fact, interesting little story. So my husband is also an emotional authority. And so over the weekend, we went, so when we had to pick up our like race bibs and everything, it was a whole expo, there were vendors and everything. And one of them was a travel agent guy, which fun little mini fun fact. I actually just became a travel agent.
Oh my gosh. Congrats.
So there's another fun thing that I'm doing that will eventually tie in with all my coaching stuff. But so we talked, like we were just like looking at the stuff. I was looking at it from a perspective of, I kind of want to just see how he is doing his marketing and stuff. I'm just kind of curious. And he was trying to do one of those things where, well, if you give me a $40 down payment and meet with me for an hour and a half next week, then I'll get you a week-long vacation for $200. And I was like, no, that doesn't feel correct for me. Like, I don't want to do that. And I was like, and also I was like, I mean, it sounded appealing. So it's like, I don't want to make the decision right now because that's not how I work. So I told him, like, well, we're going to go take a lap around and then I'll come back for you. We'll come back and let you know if we decide to do it. And he was like, okay, how about this? How about this? I can tell that you've got some interest and it's really hard to get people to come back. And I was like, well, I wonder why. He's like, so how about 20, I'll cut it down to $20 if you commit right now to doing this. And I was going to say no, because like, if he's not going to respect my desire to at least walk around the building for a second,
Right.
and my answer is no. But my husband has not quite mastered that yet. Not that
I get that.
He was like, yeah, okay, it's just $20. That's fine. Yeah, let's sign up for this. And I was like, okay. And then after the fact and everything, when we were on our way home on Sunday, he was like, yeah, we shouldn't have done that.
I get it. And it can be so hard, especially when someone's using like hard sales tactics on you. Because also, fuck that. I am so unsubscribed from hard sales tactics.
Yeah. And I've never been an easy sell anyways. My husband always has been, which is interesting. I know why, because of things in our human design, like there's gates and stuff that we both have. And it's not a bad thing either.
I don't think I would ever say that I've been an easy sell. I have been a people pleaser. I will avoid conflict by agreeing.
Maybe that's
it.
That's it. But I also say, like, I feel like I'm one of those people who would be easily susceptible and probably would accidentally join a cult.
I heard somewhere that projectors are most likely to be gaslit or something like that, or like
is that
I don't know. That was a
That's
meme. I did not fact check.
Is it because we have nothing defined in our heads?
I don't. Well,
there are some mental projectors. There are projectors that have defined heads, so that's not a projector.
I have none.
Well, then maybe the meme lied. You guys listening, memes lie.
It's true. Memes are there for purely
get your own information.
Because I know personally in my chart, I only have 2 defined things in my whole chart.
Which ones?
My spleen and my heart.
Ooh, that's lovely.
Mm-hmm.
Why is that lovely?
I just love being around people with defined hearts, because mine's undefined. And like, even when my mom has a defined heart, and whenever she just comes over to my house, I'm like, oh, I can clean. Oh, I can just do things. Oh, I can just want to
help. Like, I just want to help, and like, it's like, I just don't have any, I think that's a big part of why I very much have no judgment, and just like, I'm very loving. I don't know.
Yeah,
like, I get that.
No judgment.
I mean, my heart is also defined. And I'm unwinding a lot of my judgments. As we know from NLP training and certification, your judgments are really just projections on how you judge yourself. So start asking why you're judging people about that and what that means for you.
Yes, exactly.
You're judging people because that has been ingrained in you.
Absolutely. Like, for sure.
Shown to you.
Well, yeah. Like you are taught what to judge, and you can always change it. Yep. You can choose to change.
You can choose to not be judgmental. Which is fun, because that's always been a superpower of mine. Like, and I've always known this, that I've just never been judgmental. I need to feed him. I'm going to try not to flash you guys, but
everyone is so welcome here.
Yes.
So including breastfeeding mamas. Yes, for sure.
Thank you.
Of course.
Anyways, yes, I just, it's always fun to be around people who have things that complement your design, basically, which is why I always love being around people who have undefined sacrals, like manifestors and projectors. Like, I just love it. Or like, I tend to attract a lot of people with a 1-3 profile, which I do not have, and it's so fun. Like, it's just fun.
No, I have a 5-2,
and I'm a 6-2.
Ooh, I think that's what my oldest daughter is a 6-2.
Oh,
so fun. I love it. It's just like, anyways. But yes, so that is what authority is. Authority helps us make decisions. Beautiful. Again, it can be as simple or as complex as you want it to be.
Okay. So, and for those of you listening, if you want to go pull your chart, Megan's website is elevateempire.co. Is that right, Megan?
Yep.
And on her homepage, if you just scroll down a little, you can pull your chart. And so then you can kind of follow along on this conversation if you want to, like, hit pause, go get your chart, and then like come back to us, you're so welcome to do that. Because I know some of this can sound like, oh my God, I don't know if I'm a manifester, or I don't know if I'm a projector. So it can feel hard to like not know what to pay attention to during this conversation. So I totally invite you to hit pause and go pull your chart. And I also wanted to let you know that when you pull your chart from Megan specifically, I know she said that you could go Google any human design thing, which you totally can. And when you go to Megan's website specifically, she has such a beautiful email series set up for you to be able to learn about your human design.
Yes. So actually, on Kayla and I's first date, she asked me what my human design was. And I was like, I have no idea what you just asked me, but I know absolutely everything about it right now, immediately, please. And so then I'm pretty sure that night I went home and like,
oh no, I did it for you. I entered your email address.
Yeah. So like I went home and like pulled out my birth certificate or whatever. And then the emails that come in, like they're staggered. It's like it talks about one like part of the chart at a time, so it doesn't come in, it's not overwhelming.
Yes, it's very really digestible.
Like how you break it down, and it's just it explains things so well, and just like a little bit at a time. It was really fantastic way to like ease into the human design realm, because when I went off and on my own into the world wide web to try to find the things, it was immensely overwhelming.
It's overwhelming. Yeah. It's
There's
hard
a lot
to find exactly what you're looking for.
Oh my goodness.
So it's nice when
a lot of the verbiage is really
in your email box.
So nice. So nice.
Well, thank you for that shout out. I put a lot of love and thought into that sequence. It was really fun to create.
Yeah.
So good.
Well, that's because you're a person with a lot of love in your heart. So that makes total sense.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
I would love to ask you, or what I would love to know is, what is human design based on? Like, what modalities are layered into human design? Because I know it pulls from astrology and like several other things.
Right.
So can you tell us about like what is backing this whole process?
Yes, absolutely. So astrology, yes, is a big part of it. Obviously, like with needing your time of birth and everything, right? It does matter when and where you were born. And also, some people often ask, like, well, what if I don't know my exact time? We don't know my dad's exact time of birth. We have not been able to track that down. So we just like have pulled his chart every few hours on his birthday and tried to see like how much it changes. And it's given us two different options. And we just kind of look at both and kind of go with the one that seems to make the most sense until we can figure out. I don't know if we ever will be able to find out what time he was born, but so that's one thing that I do. Like sometimes there's very minor differences throughout the day. Sometimes there's major differences. So anyways, that's a thing. You can also find people who specialize in helping you track down, like using muscle testing and stuff to find your.
That's so smart.
I know that's actually something I know how to muscle test, but it's not something I've really practiced much. So that's something I plan on mastering one of these days. Anyhow, okay, let's see if I can remember all of these things on the top of my head. So astrology, I believe it's specifically Western astrology, the kabbalah tree of life, the Chinese I-Ching.
I did know that.
Yes, quantum physics, quantum like genetics. I'm trying to think if those were both the same thing worded differently or if it's two different ones. Okay, here, let me Google it because that's what Megan has to do a lot of the time. Because here's the thing, honestly, I am a quad right, which means that I really do well with remembering the gist of things and the feeling behind things and everything. And the details don't matter to me, so they don't stick in my brain very well. And
I mean, that's fine.
Really cool with that. Yeah, I am totally cool with that.
Computers in our pockets now, so it's
exactly. And a lot of the time I look.
Yeah, I don't know what that means.
I don't know what that means.
Oh, yes. Oh my gosh. I am obsessed with the variables. And that gets super deep dive, which he keeps deciding that he's not actually done eating. I am sorry. I'm going back and forth here. Okay. I'm going to look up my notes from when I did, because I did a few years ago, a couple years ago, maybe. I did a free Human Design 101 course. In fact, maybe I'll make that available again one of these days. But I talked about all this stuff. But so I-Ching, have you guys heard of the I-Ching?
I've heard of it.
Mm-hmm. Hey, actually, hold on. Let me insert your Human Design 101. You let me publish on my Brave Heart Open Mind YouTube page.
That's right.
So those of you listening, you guys, you can go to at Brave Heart Open Mind on YouTube, and then all 3 of Megan's like episodes or modules from her Human Design 101 are available on my channel.
Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you remembered that. Yes, go watch those. Honestly, those were so good. There's so much. And I mean, if you like the way that my emails are broken down and everything, same thing. Like that is another one of my gifts that I know within my Human Design and just with who I am. I'm able to take really complex topics and everything and simplify them in a way that's digestible and still all encompassing. Anyhow, so I found
confidently you just like repped that skill that you have.
I love that.
You're like, you want to know what I'm good at? This thing.
It's so fun because you learn how awesome you are when you look at these things and you're like, oh, I always knew that was something that I was kind of good at, and now I know why. Like I have concrete, like, yes, I am good at that for sure.
I love it.
I do. I love that so much.
Mm-hmm. It helps with the self-love immensely. Like I know that self-love is like your whole thing. That is why I am obsessed with Human Design, because it has helped me like, I am freaking awesome. Like every time I dive back into one of my gates or whatever, I'm like, that's so cool. That's me. I have that. That's
yes.
So cool.
I love that for you so much.
You can do that too. Oh, yes. Okay. Yes. So the Kabbalistic tree of life, the I-Ching hexagram, however you want to pronounce it.
Okay.
Astrology, quantum physics, and that also includes like genetics, like the science behind it all, basically. And then the chakra system. And the thing that's so cool about it being with the chakra system is that we know that we used to be 7-centered beings. Yes. Which is why the chakra system has 7 centers.
Yes.
We also know that in, I believe it was 1776, maybe somewhere around there.
Yes.
That was when they discovered Uranus. And that is also when we evolved to being 9-centered beings. So back in the day, they used to have an outer authority, which is why kings and like royalty and like why gods and everything, why they delegated all of their big decisions to these external major authorities. Mm-hmm. And we are still working on deconditioning from that to trust our own inner authority, because it's relatively new.
Yes.
That's wild. Okay, didn't you say like shit's gonna go down in 2027 or something like that?
In a couple years, there's going to be a new.
Aren't we gonna like have 12?
And not us, but anyone who was born in that time and beyond. Yes, we'll have 12 centers.
In what year?
Like 2027. So you know, it's coming.
And I don't even know if I'm gonna have one.
But isn't 2027 too far away?
Well, it's not too far away for me. Carrie would probably say it was too far away.
It's too far away from me, which makes me a little bit sad.
I get that.
My shop will be closed up by then.
My shop is already closed up. My youngest is 10.
I mean, my shop also may be closed up. I have not decided, which means she's closed until she opens.
Yes. We support this.
Yes.
So what is happening then? What kind
I honestly don't know
of people were getting, like what? I had a theory on this, didn't I, one time?
I don't remember. We may have been under the influence of a thing.
We definitely were, but I had a theory on this.
What is your theory?
Oh, it was about Mars. Okay. It was about Mars.
I love that for you. Go on.
Okay. It was something about we have all of these human designs because these are the human designs of the humans who live on Earth, right? Or walk on Earth and exist on this planet. But now soon there will be people being born who will go and live on other planets, probably. Like, you know how they say the person who will go and walk on Mars has already been born?
Yeah.
There might not
you
be
just gave me goosebumps.
there might not be a person who has been born already that's going to go live on another planet, but maybe in 2027 the person who will go and create a living arrangement on a different planet
will be born with their 12
will be
chakras.
born with the 12 chakras that they need to inhabit another planet.
Oh, that's interesting.
I think
Because we
that's
don't even
a
know.
theory.
I was definitely
under the influence.
inebriated when I came up with this
For sure.
idea.
I am a huge
But-
fan of that.
That was my big idea.
That's super interesting.
Isn't it though?
I love a good
Yeah.
planetary theory.
Oh, same.
Mm-hmm.
That was my big thought. That's my hypothesis.
I like that. I like that
Well-
hypothesis. I'm very interested to see how that plays out. Because the thing is,
I'm like-
there's not a ton of information that I have found yet. So like the school that I went through with human design,
Mhm.
she keeps saying that she's going to create a masterclass about the whole 2027 evolution, but she has yet to do it. So I haven't really looked elsewhere yet for too much information, but every day I get a little bit more curious. So I might just have to do some personal deep dive.
I follow a
Keep me
woman.
posted.
Well, I follow a woman named Crystal Thompson on Facebook.
Oh, yes.
Uh-huh. Okay. I thought she was from our certification group also.
Yes. Yep.
I think she was offering a little course on it,
Oh, was
like-
she?
a brief overview, if I'm recalling
Mm.
correctly, because I was very tempted, but it was not what I needed to learn at the time. So I was like, maybe later.
Oh, maybe I'll message her and see what she's got.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Because
it's so
it's-
fascinating to me.
It's very fascinating. But let's circle back to what
Mhm.
perhaps new people to human design
yeah, good
might
call,
be
good call.
Yes,
interested in.
I know we're
I-
getting deep dive.
Well, and I know that there are some people listening who do also know their human design who are a part of our audience. So it's nice that we're kind of bouncing back and forth so that everyone has a little bit to hear on
Totally.
what's happening.
Yes.
People who are new can get glimpses of what's in the future. People who know it can get
Yes.
glimpses of how to like explain it to their friends when they recruit new people to learn about their human
Yes,
design. It works out
absolutely.
great.
Perfect.
I wanted to ask okay, so we've gone through like strategy and authority, and you have said that those are like the two foundational things that a person can use to know about their human design. So then once they know that, how can someone use these two aspects or their human design as a whole to deepen their own self-intimacy and like self-discovery? What are some like use cases?
She looks right
You do. You look fucking stunning. You look like an angel.
Because of the smudges over my camera. I'm actually gonna clean it off. Oh, I love this question so much because that's literally, I mean, that's what we were just geeking out about, right?
Yes.
It's about because okay, let me back up about kind of my own
you're
self-discovery
okay.
a little bit of all of this. In that, I guess it wasn't the smudge. It's just my natural aura.
It's the sun.
Yes.
Yeah, it is.
It's you being beautiful.
It's you glowing.
So when I first learned about my human design, I was a little bit disappointed because my type is the most common type. My authority is the most common authority. And the definition of all of my centers is all the most common. So like my undefined head, most people have an undefined head. Most people have an undefined ajna. Most people have a defined throat. Like the definition or definition of all my centers were all in the majority. And I was like, so I am just like this clone of everybody. Like that's dumb. That's boring. That's obnoxious, you know? I know.
Yeah.
It's not. It's so not. It goes so beyond that. Like, and it's actually super common for generator types to kind of feel that way. Like, oh, I'm just
Right.
like everybody else.
Oh, that's interesting. Because I mean, I definitely am tempted to be very jelly of manifesting generators because
Mhm.
they get to have the ideas and have all the energy to get it
Yes.
done. And me sitting here with all of my ideas and not enough energy to get them done, I'm very tempted to feel those jelly feelings. So I get
Yes.
that. I understand that like initial almost like disappointment that it's not something different. And within
Well,
that,
and a lot
there's-
of that has to do with our conditioning too, because like manifestors are often conditioned to live as generators and vice versa.
Yes.
Oh my
Like,
God.
generators
yes.
often want to be like, I just want to just do it. I want to just do it. I don't want to wait for anything. I just want to be able to just go out there and do things.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
for
then
sure.
manifestors just want to have the energy to do the things that they have the urges to do. Which is why we need each other.
I feel the same way. Like, I definitely feel the same way, because there are often times where like I have a lot of ideas and I want to just
Mhm.
make all of them happen, and then I'm just like standing in a room like, what do I do?
Uh-huh.
Where do I go? Do I start?
Well, because you have to wait
what
for
do
the
I
invitation,
do?
right?
Yes. And also, like, I don't have a lot of like get up and go start things energy of my own
Mhm.
by myself. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like, because I don't like I don't have that like internal
You don't have that state,
in
girl.
years. Like, I don't have that. Yeah, I don't have that.
Could she like
You do have the will center.
Yeah.
like
Which is
put
that.
herself in positions to get more invitations? Right? Is
Yes,
that a
and
way
that-
that she can use it?
Yes. I feel like I said yes, but I feel like I have.
You're like, yes,
Uh-huh.
I love that
No, you're
idea.
absolutely
I feel
right.
like- I
You
feel
know.
like I have kind of been doing that, more lately, like in putting in just like, like with lit and
Mhm.
like putting myself out there.
Lit
with
is a women's
people,
networking group that we're a
and
part of that's
then-
local.
Oh, okay.
in putting myself out there, trying to like just like dropping the M word at the thing.
Murals.
Yes.
She just floated out into the universe that she wants to do murals as an artist.
Oh, yes.
And then I had 2 people express interest like within a week, and so it was just very exciting.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yes, because like for projectors, really, you just do the things that are fun for you. So like if networking is fun for you, you put yourself in that situation, and then invitations, just like the more you just follow your intuition, the more that you follow your splenic,
Mhm.
the more you get to just feel good. Like literally all of our jobs is just to feel good. If we just follow what feels good, what we need and what we want literally falls into our lap.
That's what I keep saying.
Yes.
Say it louder for the people in the back.
Yes.
Hey,
Your job is to feel good.
will you speak, Megan, to that post that you made yesterday that talked about like finding what feels authentically good as opposed to finding what feels like what we've been
That is a good.
what we've been, I'm gonna say, brainwashed into feeling like is good,
Yes.
Yes. It's essentially like the comparison trap. Like it's so funny because I talk about it a lot, how if you desire something, it's yours.
Yes, it's
Yes.
meant
It's
for
already
you.
yours. You just have to claim it. Right. And then I've had a few people like kind of message me or whatever saying, well, so if I desire a Lamborghini, that's mine. Like I just can go up to the dealership and take it. I'm like, okay, well, that's, first of all, that's not how this works. Second of all, why do you want that Lamborghini? Do you want it because your neighbor has a Lamborghini and you want the better model to one up them? That's not authentic.
No.
That's you trying to prove something, which is the not self theme of a will center.
Mm-hmm.
But if you desire that Lamborghini because the colors are just rich and beautiful and you love the feel of the interior as you're sitting in it and it just feels juicy and good, and you love the
that
rev
feels
of that
good.
particular
Yes.
engine, like that is yours. That is coming from within your actual being. That is coming from your strategy and your authority. And if that is coming from you, then it is yours. And if it is yours and you continue to follow your strategy and authority, you will find yourself in a position to have that.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
It may or may not look like the path that you thought it would be to get there, but if it's yours, you will get there. As long as you continue to allow yourself to feel good along the way, it will be yours.
Yes, I love that.
And then it gets to feel good. Like there will always be challenges on the way. That's what facilitates growth, right? There will be challenges. You'll get pushback. You'll get resistance, and that is what helps you grow on your way there, because it's not about the goal. It's about the going.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And then it actually feels good when you get there, because if you are going towards that Lamborghini, I don't even know why I said Lamborghini. I literally never talk about them. Maybe someone needed to hear that today. But so if you are going towards that Lamborghini with the idea that it's going to fix this uncomfortable feeling that you have. Like, I don't like that my neighbor has something better than me and I need to prove that I'm better than them.
Yeah.
And you get that Lamborghini, you're still going to feel that way.
Yeah.
Yes, correct. Oh, I
So
love
that is something I
little
talked about in
lammy.
that
That lamb
Yes.
is so cute.
So sweet.
For
That's
those of
her
you
snuggle
not
lamb.
watching, her daughter's holding up this cute little lamb.
So sweet.
She loves all her snuggle buddies.
Yes,
Me
I love
too.
that.
I have so many that I just love.
Same. We all have our, like, you know, those massive squishmallows that they sell at Costco.
Oh yes.
Yes, we
Wait,
all
they
have one
sell
of those.
massive ones at Costco?
Yes.
Yes.
I don't have a
Okay.
Costco card.
Neither do I, but we know people.
I have a
I'm
Sam's
sure we know
Club.
people.
I have a Sam's Club card, but they don't usually sell them at Sam's Club. But I do
I get
need to go
that.
to Sam's Club.
I have no desire to go.
Okay.
That's why we don't. I have no desire to be in that space. Okay, so let's circle back for a moment. So we talked about how human design can help us to like authentically feel out our desires.
Mhm.
What else can knowing our human design help us with?
So, I mean, we kind of briefly talked about how it can help us love ourselves.
Yes.
And it's because, okay. Oh yeah. Because I started to mention how I didn't like how I was like the
Yes.
majority of all these things.
Yes.
But then the more I got into it and looked at like my gates and my channels and all of these things, I realized how unique I really am. Like, no one has my same design. And even if someone does, like, I've got brothers who are twins and they have literally the exact same design and they're literally complete opposite human beings.
Wow.
They
Fascinating.
have different things that make,
Oh, I was going to say my sister is also a manifester and it feels very different, our two experiences.
Yep, absolutely. Like, it's because and like they grew up in the exact same family, exact same time, like all these things.
Yeah.
But their personalities are still different. Like, they're expressed differently. We still have different desires. Like, they both have totally different careers and lives and desires and personalities, you know? And so even if you have the exact same design as someone else, the way that you experience it. So like me and my sister will geek out on this stuff all the time. So we have some similar gates or some gates, but they're in different planets, or we just feel them differently. Or anyway, so the more that I look into how unique my design is expressed, the more I realize how freaking cool I am. Like, I really am so cool. Like, it's so
You
You
are
are so
look at all
cool.
these gifts that I have, and like, look at how I get to use them to do these things that I really love. And then look at how, like, you start with yourself, and then that automatically impacts the world around you. Like, the more I am focused on myself and what makes me feel good, the happier my family is. The more I'm able to serve them in ways that I like. And
That's so
oh,
beautiful.
can you go find them for me? Yeah. So it just the self-love naturally follows when you are connected with who you are, who you were designed to be, and how you were designed to express it.
Yes, I love that, because there's also pleasure that gets to be derived from acting in accordance to how you know you're meant to be.
Right.
And when you can feel yourself using your strategy and your authority and feel power and feel powerful within that action, like, there's definite pleasure that you get to take from engaging with yourself and the world around you according to what feels so fucking good for you, which absolutely spirals into self-love.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And then helps you naturally shed that people pleasing.
Yes, which is so important, because I'll be really honest, Megan, you started talking about people pleasing on social media like probably 2 years ago. And I was like, oh yeah, people pleasing. I totally understand that some people need that. Like, yeah, right on. Megan's saying good stuff. And then the more you've continued speaking on it, and other people that I know have been speaking on it, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm definitely a wounded people pleaser. Like, fun fact, it gets to be a really good mirror for a thing that I needed to heal. And now that I've been healing that more so and like setting more boundaries, it just feels better and better and better to be my fucking self and who everyone else wants me to be.
Yes. And it's so interesting because as recovering people pleasers, which I think most people in our generation are,
yes,
the more, so first of all, I have found that it works better to recover from people pleasing not by looking at the people pleasing, but by looking at yourself and your design and what makes you happy, right? Because then that just naturally falls away. And one of the fears that we have with shedding that people pleasing is that, again, it's like a vicious cycle. It's like, well, if I stop people pleasing, then people are going to be mad.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
I don't want them to be mad at me. I don't want them to have all these feelings and emotions. But as we start feeling good ourselves, we give them permission to do the same. And everyone that is within your aura gets the opportunity to feel better and be happier.
Yes. Because I am such a fucking firm believer that when you are yourself full volume, you show other people that they get to be themselves full volume.
Yes.
And that's real powerful.
It really is.
It is. And the people that don't like it are the ones that aren't ready to look at who they are yet. And that's their journey, and that's fine.
For sure. Yes. Absolutely.
That is so true. Can I ask?
Go ahead.
So like I said, I have in my house, my partner of like 7 years or 8 years or however long we've been together, he's also a projector. And then his two kiddos, my bonus kids, are projectors. And my daughter, who is almost a teenager, is a manifester, and my son, who is 10, is a manifesting generator. And so it's a lot of projectors going on.
Yeah.
A manifester and a mani-gen, and he's definitely got all the energy and all of the, he's got all the drive and all the info, and he wants to do all the things all the time. But my question is, knowing my children's human design, what can I do with that, and how can I use that information to kind of like shift and inform my parenting to like help support them, you know what I mean, like on their journey into life?
Yes. Oh, I love this question, and it's definitely something that I am still practicing myself with my kids being so young. And the interesting thing too is that from ages 0 to 7, they are functioning from their, like, almost primarily from their subconscious design. So like on the left side of the chart, that is primarily what they're functioning from.
Okay.
And then the personality part, like the conscious side of their design, comes more into play once they turn 7 and beyond.
Okay.
And that comes into play like with what we know with NLP and the subconscious mind, right? Is ages 0 to 7, they're just walking subconscious minds essentially.
Oh,
So
and
that's an
NLP
interesting
is
thing. So
neuro-linguistic
kids that are 7 or
programming.
younger,
You don't know.
Yes.
So I just realized that we had dropped NLP without explaining it like a couple times.
Yeah.
Neuro-linguistic programming. For those of you listening, if you are not familiar with that term. Okay, sorry, Megan, please keep going.
Yes. No, thank you. So that is one thing to keep in mind, is that if they're younger than 7, mostly just look at their subconscious side and see what you can work with there, because in fact, not on my website, but with the paid software that I use on my phone and on my devices, you can look at just the subconscious side and just see what their design is. So like if I looked at my subconscious design, I'm like a reflector, right? So my children might be reflectors for the first 7 years of their life and need time, right? So there's that. And then also, so like you have a sacral being in your home, asking him lots of yes or no questions is going to help him really get comfortable and familiar with what his sacral response feels like, and allowing him to make the noises that come up all the time. Like I have to really work on myself with my daughters to not shush them all the time, because that is a common thing that sacral beings got growing up, was they were just constantly shushed, because that sacral is vocal.
Oh yeah.
It comes up through the throat and it makes all these noises, very like primal noises, like, ooh, yeah, yeah,
Max and his yeet.
Yes.
Max and his yeet.
I love Max's little noises.
Yes. How old is he?
He is 10.
Okay, yeah. Perfect. So let him express his responses vocally.
Okay.
And you've already been doing that.
Oh yeah. Okay.
That's amazing.
Okay.
That is amazing. And then for your projectors and manifester, making sure that they don't feel the need to constantly be working. I think that's just the biggest thing, is making sure that they know that they are not lazy, Because that is such, I mean, you guys
Yes.
probably
Oh my
know
God,
that is such a
yes.
common conditioning.
I've been really working on healing my laziness wounds.
Same.
Because like we had the real good Midwestern work ethic when I grew up, and resting was laziness. All forms of resting were laziness.
Yeah, you
And
can rest when everything is done. And
and that is
once
not how it
every-
has to be.
no, and once everything is done, you sit down. And why are you sitting down? Let me find you something else to do.
Oh God,
Gosh.
Mhm.
Like,
that's tragic.
man, yeah.
Dang.
And as you do your own inner healing on that, it will naturally cross over to your children. It just does.
Okay.
So that's just, honestly, that's probably the biggest thing, is just, well, first of all, teaching them their strategy and authority in terms that they understand, right? Like, you don't have to teach them human design.
Right.
So like, if you just tell them, well, what does your body tell you? Like, how does, like, so if they have an emotional authority, tell them to sleep on their big decisions, right? Like, well,
Okay.
here are your options. I want you to, don't make a decision right now. Sleep on it. We'll talk some more tomorrow. We'll just keep talking about it until you feel about 80% certain that you know what's right for you. Or if they have a
love that.
splenic
Until
authority,
you
you can be
feel
like, what's
80% certain. I love that.
Yeah.
Yep. Emotional authorities do not need to feel 100% certain. Absolutely
Okay.
not.
Oh, good to know. That's
That's
good to know.
so good to know. Well, because I usually never feel 100% certain, but I also say things
Yeah.
like, my fear is showing me exactly where I need to go next.
Yeah.
So I guess I intuitively knew that, but it was
Yeah.
nice to hear it like concretely.
Yes. Absolutely.
Mhm.
So yeah, teaching them their strategy and authority in terms that they understand. And then for those non-sacral beings, making sure that they get plenty of rest, plenty of horizontal time, even if they're not sleeping, just like rest, so that they can be available for what's correct for them.
Beautiful.
Oh my
I love
goodness.
that. Okay, so Megan, when you reflect back on everything that we've spoken about so far, is there anything, or what is anything that comes up for you as something that people who are learning human design need to know that we haven't talked about yet?
Yes, there's one thing that comes up for me, and that is that you're not going to follow your strategy and authority all the time. You're not. And you're also not wrong for that. You're never wrong for living out of alignment with your human design, because that is still a teaching experience.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And nobody,
Mhm.
my husband's gonna laugh when he hears this played back, or if he's listening from the office right now. Nobody is excellent at something the first time they start it.
Mhm.
Stop look. I know.
Did you hear yourself just now
I
say
heard
those
myself. I'm
words?
learning the lesson in a new way right now.
I'm so proud of you. I'm
Thank
so
you.
proud of you. You did it, Big Bird.
I did do it. So yeah, it's okay to be a beginner, and I really am grateful that you pointed that out, Megan.
Yes.
Yes. And even like, because I'm how many years into my experiment now? Like 3 or 4 years in my experiment. And I still, sometimes I will be in the midst of making a decision or acting, or like, with that travel agency guy, I knew that the correct answer was no in that moment, but I allowed it to be a yes anyways. And I knew in the moment, like, this isn't correct, but I'm allowing it anyways. And it was a
Right.
learning experience.
Yes,
So.
I can think of many times
Oh,
that has been true for me. So thank you for bringing that up.
Yes,
okay.
absolutely.
So for all the humans watching and listening, you can pull your human design charts at elevateempire.co, and you will automatically be signed up for those really beautiful emails
So good.
that Megan sends to you with like bite-sized pieces of information where you can learn more about your human design. And Megan, while I was typing this little bullet point out so I would remember to say it again at the end, it occurred to me to give you something to respond to. So I have an idea for you. My little manifestor heart came up with something. I was like, what if those emails were turned into like downloadable ebooks? So like people who just want to like mainline what you've got can do that. And like you could even,
I love that idea.
You could even sell them for like $4 or whatever on your Etsy, because I know that you just had an Etsy with your mandala coloring pages.
Yeah, which is so fun. Yes.
So anyway, feel into that, or nope, I'm the one who needs to feel into that, right? Listen to your yes, no.
I'm gonna sleep on it is what I'm gonna do.
Love that. Yes.
That
But
does
I'm
sound
getting the green
good.
light from my sacral April, so that's enough of a confirmation to at least sleep on it for sure.
Beautiful. I love
that.
that. Because
Thank you for that.
even me, who I've been learning about human design from you for years, I would be so interested to have that email series like summarized somewhere.
Okay.
Like where I could just go back and like tootle through it and see if there's anything else I can pick up, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's such a good idea. I love that. Thank you so much for presenting that opportunity to me.
You're
That
so
idea.
welcome.
I love that.
Oh, welcome.
As a manifester, I get really excited when people hear my ideas and they can go execute them. Like that's not something I'm supposed to initiate, but it's something the universe put in my head.
I love
That's
it.
why we all need each other.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, and that's why I'm meant to inform. I keep coming around to this idea that like any idea that I have, I just need to like create a list of ideas and just start putting it on social media, because who knows who that's meant for.
That's right.
And
Yeah.
I limit my sphere if I'm not speaking those opportunities out into the world, right? Or I limit the sphere of those ideas.
Yeah.
And as a manifestor,
I would also offer this. I'm trying to remember. Is your head open or defined?
she's so open. She's so open. I get all the ideas and they're almost never for me. And it took a really long time to learn that.
So here is something that I would just offer you. Here's a little free human design reading moment for you.
Hey, thanks.
If it's not for you, you don't have to necessarily be the conduit to put it out into the 3D world.
Oh, good.
If you get an idea and it's not for you, it's also okay to just release it, and it will, because what you do when you just release it energetically, it's amplified and it's bigger and it will find whoever it is meant for. They'll be able to pick up.
Okay,
Easier
because sometimes I just
through your brain.
Sometimes I just speak them out loud. Like when I'm talking to Ashley or my husband, I'm like, what if XYZ idea were a thing? I hope the universe gives that to someone. So I'm really glad that like
absolutely.
that's what's happening.
Yeah.
Have you ever read Big Magic?
Yes, I did. I just did.
I own it. I just gave it to my mom to read, but I haven't read it.
Oh my gosh, you should. Well, basically there's this, she talks about how she kept having this idea for a book, kept coming to her and she kept putting it off. And eventually it just like left her. And then like I don't remember the timeline, but not long after, someone else wrote that book.
Like the exact book.
Same story.
That's
and
wild.
It's not like a common story. It was very specifically that idea from the universe. She ended up not taking action on it, so it went somewhere else.
Big Magic.
I love that.
Big Magic is such a good book.
Yeah.
Such a good book.
Oh,
Her letter
it's one of my
to
favorites.
her letter to her fear. So good.
Yeah.
That was my favorite. I was like, I'm doing that all the time now. You can come along, but you are not calling any shots, friend. So good.
Okay, well, I
there you
can't
go.
say that I'm going to move that up my reading list because I am not in a place where I'm reading books for like self-betterment right now. I am reading for joy right now.
Same, actually.
Yeah.
So that's all right. We just gave you enough for you to know that you don't have to
exactly.
be the physical conduit all the time. You can just be the energetic conduit.
Great. I love that for me because thinking about actually executing all the things that are in my head,
like giving them to the
even feeling the responsibility to
yes. Okay, that's nice. Okay, great, cool. Then I'll just let the good times roll.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much for being here, Megan. I'm so delighted to be able to pass your wisdom on to all of our listeners.
Yeah.
I am so honored to have been here. Thank you so much for having me.
It was
of course
so great. I feel like I know so much more and like I want to go in and dive in more and learn even more now.
Yes. And it's okay to know.
Yes, absolutely.
You can do it in baby steps, right? Like just go look at your chart for your strategy and authority and then move on to the next step. And if you are listening and you're already like sort of into human design and you kind of know all the stuff, Megan has a really good PDF on figuring out your gates, like all of those symbols on the sides of your charts that I use, which is awesome. I'm not sure where they can find that, Megan.
Maybe I'll put that up in my Etsy shop as well. Yeah, I don't have it on my website right now, so I'll just go put it over on Etsy.
Awesome.
Okay. Well, if you, Megan, send me your Etsy link, I can put it in the description also.
Okay. Yeah, I'll do that.
And then what else was I gonna say? It left
I
my
don't know.
brain. It wandered away.
Well, I will also say, I'm not going to share any details right now, but I also have a couple more things regarding human design that are in the works right now that will also help people with all this stuff.
Beautiful.
Oh, I'm excited.
I was going to mention that for advanced human design people, Megan is also an expert in gene keys, which helps to support human design. So maybe just go follow Megan, and when she's ready to announce whatever she has planned or speaks about gene keys, that will be available. So will you, Megan, send me your social stuff too, and I'll put it in.
I'm super
Yeah,
excited for
absolutely.
that too.
Yay!
I want to know all the things.
Yes.
Yes. Oh, I have so much to share.
Yay!
You do. You're so wise.
Always, you're nice. You're nice. I just love it. It's just fun.
It is
Mhm,
fun.
for sure. You can be wise and fun.
I received that. I received that. Thank you.
Well, I hope you and your sweet family have such an amazing rest of your day.
Thank you so much. You guys as well.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Okay, everyone listening, thank you so much for joining us. We love you so fucking much.
So much.
Okay, love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye.
Bye.